My SIL offered to help with my baby shower, then sent out invitations listing herself as the host and me as the co-mother. When I called her, she said, "It's just branding, it sounds better for the photos." My husband laughed, so I waited until she started opening my gifts at the party for easier organization, then took the mic, read her DMs to a friend trashing me, and walked out with every single gift receipt in my bag. I'm 32 female, living near Omaha, Nebraska. This story's been eating at me for months. I'm pregnant with my first baby, and I thought this would be a joyful time. But instead, I learned that sometimes the people closest to you are just waiting for the right moment to hijack your happiness. For me, that person was my sister-in-law, Tara, 33 female. Tara is my husband Jake's older sister. She's always been loud, always posting online, always putting on a show. She's not evil, she's not cruel, she's just always too much. You know the type. Every holiday turns into a photo shoot. Every casual dinner turns into a brand collaboration. She doesn't ask questions. She tells you how things are going to be. At first, I thought she just wanted to help. I really did. When Jake and I told the family I was pregnant, Tara was the first one to text me after the announcement. She said, "I'd love to throw your shower. I already have ideas." She sounded thrilled. I was still in the early months, tired all the time, barely keeping food down. So I said yes. I told her she could help as long as we planned together. I should have known better. 2 weeks later, I found out she had already designed and sent out digital invitations without running anything by me. I didn't even get a copy. I saw the invite because my best friend Rachel texted me, "Girl, what is this?" The digital invite had a big stage photo of Tara in full makeup, sitting on a white couch holding a fake baby bottle like she was on a baby product ad. I looked at it for a few seconds before I even noticed my own name. This is what the invite said: "Please join us for a modern, elevated baby celebration, hosted by Tara, honoring the beautiful co-mother my name. Company. Mother." I read it 3 times. Was that a typo? No. She'd written it that way on purpose. I called her immediately. No hello. No small talk. I said, "Why does the invite say you're the host and I'm a co-mother?" She giggled. Literally giggled. "It's just branding, babe. Host looks stronger in the font, and co-mother sounds more, like, modern and inclusive. It photographs better. Don't worry, it'll be adorable. Photographs better." That's what she said about my baby shower. I told Jake about the call, thinking he'd be furious too. But he just shrugged and said, "That's just how Tara is." Then he laughed. I felt sick. But I didn't argue. I didn't fight it. Instead, I watched. I paid attention. She didn't include me in any of the planning after that. Not one thing. She picked a white and gold theme because colors distract from the outfits. She chose a space downtown that looked like a wedding venue. I asked if we were doing anything with baby books or baby-themed games, and she told me, "Ugh, no, those are tacky. We're going for elegant." I hadn't even seen the guest list. Then Rachel texted me again. This time, she sent screenshots from someone who'd been DMing with Tara. In those DMs, Tara said she was going to do this in a church basement. I had to take over. The vibe was so single mom fundraiser. I'm elevating it. Another, honestly, people are going to think it's my baby and I'm not correcting them. My IG needs this. I didn't scream. I didn't call her. I didn't tell Jake. I planned. I decided I would show up. I would smile. And I would let her go too far. Because she always does. The day of the shower, I walked in and it was like walking onto a set. She had a photographer. A literal rented flower wall. She wore a floor-length white dress and stood at the front like a bride waiting to give a speech. I wasn't even announced when I arrived. The photographer took pictures of her with guests. I stood near the back, invisible. The gifts were stacked high. Some were from my childhood friends. Some from Jake's coworkers. some from people I didn't even know. I noticed Tara holding a clipboard and whispering to a woman I assumed was her assistant. Then we sat for the gift reveal. She made a whole show of sitting in the big white chair. I assumed she'd call me up. Nope. She picked up each gift, unwrapped it with dramatic flair, and read off the card. She said things like, "We love this one. This will go great in our nursery. This brand is perfect for US." My name? Not mentioned once. People looked at me, confused. Then I stood up. I walked slowly to the mic Tara noticed. She paused. I said, "Before we end, I just want to thank you all for coming." And since Tara's been so involved, I thought I'd share a few things she's said recently. Tara tried to cut me off. "Oh my God, what are you doing?" But I kept going. I read her DMs, word for word. Her calling my plans tacky. Her saying it would look like her baby. Her mocking how I wasn't showing. The room was dead quiet. One woman gasped. Tara stood frozen, face turning red. She tried to laugh again, her go-to move, but nobody laughed with her. I looked at the gifts. Then I reached under the table and pulled out a canvas tote bag. Inside were every gift receipt that had been handed to me quietly by people who knew something was off. I said, "Thanks again. I'll be using these to get what I actually want. For my baby." Then I walked out. After I walked out of that shower with the receipts, I didn't go home. I drove straight to my mom's place. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I was just quiet. My mom opened the door, took one look at me, and said, "What happened?" I handed her the tote bag, sat on her couch, and finally let myself fall apart. She rubbed my back like she used to when I was a kid. I didn't even realize how much I'd been holding in. An hour later, Jake called. I didn't answer. Then he texted, "What the hell was that? Tara is humiliated. You didn't have to go nuclear." I stared at the screen. No apology. No, "Are you okay?" Just defending her. He showed up later that night. Walked in acting like I had embarrassed him. "I get that you're pregnant and emotional," he said, standing over me like I was some wild child. "But you made a scene." My mom's furious. "Tara's not talking to anyone." "Good," I said. "She should be embarrassed." Jake looked at me like I'd slapped him. She spent so much time planning that shower. For herself, Jake. She made it about her. She called me a co-mother. She said the baby looked like hers. He rolled his eyes. It was a joke. I stood up. "Read the DMs. Read them out loud if it's so funny." He didn't say anything. He didn't even ask to see them. That night, I stayed at my mom's. The next day, Tara posted a vulnerable moment on her Instagram stories. It was 10 slides long. One of them said, "Sometimes, people don't understand your vision. Sometimes, helping someone turns into being hated for it. That doesn't make you the villain. It makes you strong." Another slide had a quote about jealousy in the family and protecting your light. And then came the worst one, a blurry black and white photo of her crying in a car. Real tears. Mascara streaks. Captioned, "I tried to create beauty." I was met with hate. I didn't respond. But other people did. Rachel posted her own story, screenshotting the DMs Tara had written, the ones I read out loud. She tagged Tara and wrote, "Nah, don't lie on social media. You got caught. Own it." More guests chimed in. One of Jake's cousins posted, "I wondered why the mom-to-be wasn't opening the gifts. That was weird." Tara tried to clap back, but it wasn't working. For once, people weren't buying it. Jake started changing, but not for the better over the next few days. Jake grew colder. Shorter with his words. Distant. He stopped asking about the baby. Didn't come to my last OB appointment. I asked him, "Are you mad because of what happened? Or are you mad because your sister's embarrassed?" He didn't answer. Just shrugged and said, "You could have handled it better." That was his answer for everything. So I stayed at my mom's. Days turned into a week. Then 2. I returned some of the gifts, got store credit, picked up things I actually needed. Baby bottles, a real diaper bag, not the fancy designer one Tara had approved. I hired a doula. She's calm, sweet, and talks to me like I matter. One day I came home to grab more clothes and Jake was there. "I've been thinking," he said. I looked at him. "About what?" He paused. "Maybe we rushed into this. The baby, marriage." That hit like a punch to the gut. I said, "So now you're blaming the baby?" "No. I'm just saying, it's been a lot." Then he said, "Tara's my sister. I can't cut her out. I never asked you to. I asked you to stand with me. You didn't." He looked away. I walked back to the closet, packed more clothes. That night, I called a lawyer. 2 weeks later, Tara sent out thank you cards. She mailed them to everyone who came to the shower, but they weren't from me. They were from her. Each card had her picture on it, holding gifts. The text said, "Thank you for supporting this beautiful celebration of life. Love, Tara." No mention of me. Not one line. Then came the part that sent me over the edge. She used my son's name. The one I had shared privately, one I hadn't even announced yet. I called her. First time since the shower. She picked up, fake cheerful. "Oh, hey there. You don't get to use his name." She paused. "It's on the invites. People already know." "You had no right." She sighed. "Look, if this is still about the shower, I think we're both ready to move on. Don't you?" I hung up. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. But I started planning something else. I didn't want revenge for the sake of being petty. I wanted closure. I wanted her to stop treating my pregnancy like a prop. I wanted Jake to see me. I wanted my child to be born into a world where I wasn't invisible. So I started digging. One of the things Tara had boasted about at the shower was this exclusive brand partnership she landed. She claimed a boutique baby brand had agreed to sponsor part of the shower in exchange for promotion on her blog and Instagram. She said that's why she needed it to look clean, neutral, professional. But something didn't sit right. So I reached out to the brand myself. I sent them a short email through their contact page, just asking if they had any public partnerships with influencers and whether Tara was one of them. 3 days later, I got a response. They had never heard of her, never sent her anything, never agreed to sponsor any event. I stared at that email and just left. She made it up. The partnership was fake. All of it, just a cover to justify taking over the shower. I printed out the email. And then I called Jake. Jake's parents were hosting a family dinner, and they invited me. It was supposed to be a chance to talk things through. I wasn't planning to go. But after getting that email, I changed my mind. When I got there, Tara was already sitting at the head of the table like she was royalty. Jake was beside her. His mom gave me a tight smile. His dad didn't even look up from his plate. I sat down, pulled out the email, and placed it in the center of the table. "What's this?" Jake asked, voice already annoyed. "Read it." Tara leaned in, then pulled back fast. "This is so unnecessary." "It's a lie," I said. "You said that brand sponsored the shower." "They didn't. They've never worked with you. You made it up." She looked like she'd swallowed something sour. Jake's mom finally spoke. "Does it really matter? It was a beautiful event." "It matters because she used that lie to take control of my shower," I said, voice steady. "She lied to all of you. And she used my pregnancy to boost her image." Tara stood up. "You are so ungrateful. I did everything. You didn't even plan a thing." I stood too. "Because you didn't let me. You hijacked it. You made it your photo op. Then you posted pictures of yourself crying like you were the victim." Jake didn't say a word. Not even when his sister called me a bitter, hormonal train wreck right in front of his parents. Not even when I said, "I won't let you near my son if you keep this up." He didn't defend me. So I walked out again. This time for good. Weeks passed. My due date got closer. Jake and I barely spoke, except about logistics. Then I found out something that broke me. Rachel called. She said she'd seen Tara's latest post. It was a new announcement photo. Tara, in a soft pink dress, cradling her stomach. The caption? When you pour love into something enough, it starts to feel like yours. The comments were full of people asking, are you adopting? And wait, are you expecting too? And she was liking them. Letting people believe it. That's when I knew she wasn't going to stop. And Jake? He'd never stand in the way. Not for me. Not for our baby. I started writing everything down. The fake brand deal. The hijacked shower. The thank you cards with my baby's name. The social media lies. I gathered screenshots, emails, texts. I got everything in order. Because this wasn't just drama anymore. This was going to court. I didn't want to go to court. I didn't want drama. I just wanted peace. But peace wasn't possible with someone like Tara in my life. And with a husband who let her take over everything while he stood in the background, pretending it wasn't happening. So I filed for legal separation first. That woke Jake up fast. He showed up at my mom's door, pale and stunned. You're ending the marriage over a party? I looked him dead in the eyes and said, no. I'm ending it because you picked silence every single time I needed you to speak. He stayed quiet after that too. Typical. Then I met with a lawyer. Not just about the separation, but about my baby. I wanted custody. I wanted limits. And I wanted paperwork that would keep Tara away unless I said otherwise. My lawyer said I had more than enough. And then I did something that maybe wasn't kind, but it was honest. I wrote a post. A long one. On my own social media. Not dramatic, not petty. Just facts. I titled it, How My Sister-in-Law Tried to Turn My Pregnancy into Her Personal Brand, and Why I'm Raising My Son Without Her Around. I told the story plainly. How she lied about a sponsorship. How she called herself co-mother. How she sent thank you cards with my baby's name. How she let people online believe she was the one having the baby. I ended the post like this. Pregnancy is not a prop. Babies are not brand content. If you stood by and watched this happen and said nothing, don't expect an invite to the birthday party. It went viral in our community. Friends of friends shared it. People I hadn't talked to in years messaged me saying, I always thought something was off about her. Even some of Tara's own followers started calling her out in comments. She went private the next day. But the damage was done. When I went into labor, I didn't tell Jake. I didn't have to. My lawyer already had a plan in place. I gave birth to a healthy, beautiful baby boy with my mom holding my hand. My doula helped me breathe through every pain. It was hard. It was exhausting. But it was mine. No cameras. No fake smiles. No one calling me a co-mother. Just me. And him. Jake found out a day later. He showed up at the hospital, angry that I hadn't told him. I let him hold the baby, but only for a while. Then I told him the truth. I'll give you time with your son, I said. But this isn't going to be your sister's story anymore. And if you can't protect him from her, you won't be in it either. He looked at me, finally realizing what he'd lost. As for Tara, her brand took a hit. Small, but real. A few local companies stopped working with her. A mom's group removed her as a moderator. Word got around. She tried to post a comeback video a few weeks later. Something about learning to love yourself after betrayal. But no one really listened. The comments were brutal. One woman wrote, "Try loving other people's boundaries next time." She hasn't posted much since. And she still hasn't met my son. Was I perfect? No. I could have yelled earlier. Could have said no louder. Could have called out the madness before it grew into a storm. But I gave people chances. I waited for them to do the right thing. They didn't. So I did it myself. And now, every night when I rock my baby to sleep, I look down at his little face and think, you are not anyone's brand. You are not content. You are not a photo op. You are mine. And no one, not even family, gets to take that from me again.